Sleep, and this is your ultimate Friday night prediction showdown. Now get ready, and just know it will be an adrenaline-driven kind of an affair, one which the legends, the giants, and the people who understand the game will be able to dissect it and to tell you what exactly is expected to happen in this edition of the Football Sleep. And if you're thinking about following again, we have the bet slips. And when we think about the bet slips, last week it was not the best for me because out of the 10 games I was able to nick it because I was able to get only 7. Talk about Robinson Okenya on the other 8 for him, and for Hassan Juma, he led the charges because he had 9 correct. So if you're sitting down, then sit, get comfortable. If you have some popcorns, you have to pop them. If you've not, then you have to enjoy because you got a 1 hour that will be covered, and it will be a very, very, again, I must say, spicy affair. My name is Moses Wahisi, and again, this is the Football Sleep. Now, we will begin with matters because I know Robinson Okenya is on the other side, and we have a plenty that is coming on the table. Okenya, what do we have on your end?
Well, Moses, thank you very much, and good evening to you. Now, you know, there's one question that you have to ask yourself. You can't call yourself a football prophet, yet when you're giving your predictions, you fail 5 out of 10. That is a question for another day.
Okay.
Yes. No, I'm just saying you can't call yourself a football prophet or a sports prophet and fail 5 out of the 10 predictions that we have. So
at least I didn't do that.
You failed 4 out of the 10, so you got 6 right. So I want us to get... to recap how the week was. So let's quickly run through how the week was. Arsenal, after 14 years of waiting, they are finally into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. This is after they got that 4-3 win against Porto in the round of 16, and it was on penalties after settling for a 1-1 draw on regular time. That is all about the Gunners. We'll be taking a look at the draw later on in the show. We move away from the Gunners. We go into Atletico Madrid. They knocked out the team with the best defense in Europe's top 5 leagues, Inter Milan. So Atletico Madrid, they're in the Champions League quarter-finals. Very, very impressive. 3-2 was the final score on penalties. Remember, they won 2-1 on regular time. 2-2 was the final score, and they had to go to penalties, and they won 3-2 on penalties. So that is all about Atletico Madrid. And we move on to Liverpool, a team that is on fire. Remember, they were playing on Thursday night. They are on fire, and they got a 6-0 win, 5-0 win against Sparta Prague. They are through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Now, aside from Liverpool, we also take a look at another team that was on fire. Now, Mohamed Kudus scored one of the best goals that we've seen in Europa League this season, and that is why you see they are polishing his shoe right here as West Ham got a 5-0 win against Freiburg, qualifying through to the next round of the Europa League. Now, aside from West Ham, we take a look at the other teams that were in action this week. And Patrick Schick was the savior for Bayer Leverkusen. Currently, 35 matches unbeaten in all competitions this season, and they qualified through to the round of the quarterfinals of Europa League, courtesy of that win against FC Karabag in Europa League. Now, aside from this, we take a look at the comeback kings. FC Bournemouth came back from 3 goals down to defeat Luton in the English Premier League. They got a 4-3 win in that match, and it was one of the matches of the weekend. So one of the moments that probably we might touch on. Now, aside from this, as the week began on Monday, Chelsea were in action. They got a 3-2 win against Newcastle, one of the very few things that Chelsea have been doing right this season, but the other ones are wrong. Now, aside from Chelsea, we get into what we'll be focusing on this weekend. The big match of the weekend, Manchester United will be at home taking on Liverpool. We'll be taking a look at that, what to expect. Will Manchester United finally beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. We'll be taking a look at their head-to-head and the last fixtures that they played in and see whether they have what it takes to do that. Now, aside from Manchester United taking on Liverpool, another big match that we have for this weekend, Atletico Madrid, after beating Inter Milan, they will be taking on Barcelona, a team that eliminated Napoli from the Champions League. So this is the clash of the Titans. Now, aside from this, another clash of the Titans, we'll see Inter Milan at home taking on Napoli. Remember, Napoli are the Serie A champions. Inter Milan are the Serie A league leaders. So these are some of the matches that we'll be looking at today, giving you a prediction of what to expect, and we'll be waiting to see whether our predictions will pass through or you have a better predictions as compared to us. So let me now move on to Hassan Juma. Hassan, najua last week ulijaribu, lakini leo sijui kama mambo yatakuwa vile kama last week.
Wajua tunamsema kweli, useme last week nilijaribu vipi? Yaani mimi ndio nilipokidedea nilijaribu vipi? Angalia. Alois Michael, Kimutai wa Juja, Steven Moirore, Brand Sang, Purity Koimo, waziri wa michezo kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, Job Osire ambaye anatufuatilia, Aden Motero, Brand Jason, Job Madai anatufuatilia UAE, Milki za Kiarabu kule Dubai, nani Dennis Kafu, hao wote wanasema walivuna pakubwa baada ya kuzindua kipindi chetu hiki, kipindi murwa kabisa cha uchambuzi The Football Slip. Sasa katika kule uchambuzi kina Shtemi, Steven Mkangai wiki jana wakavuna pakubwa, ndio maana nasema wanasalia, wanakaa papo hapo kitako. Rogers Shtemi, this is the second edition, wiki ya pili, sijui na wiki hii yote hii siku 6-7 mambo yamekwaje?
Ipo kazi Juma, lakini a learning process as things try to open up, and so far so good. The energy is still there, because if you have people who are following what you are doing on TV and they are appreciating it, you feel at least proud of what you are doing. And for all our fans, all our viewers, we are here to make sure that indeed you enjoy the football tips, you enjoy the prediction, the dissection, and everything related to matters football. This is where you will enjoy it most.
I like that. Sasa mimi unajua hapa si kwangu bwana. Hapa kuna jamaa nilimlisha kadi nyekundu baada ya kubwatuka.
Tumeshamzoea.
Steven Mkangai, mbwatukaji. Mbwatukaji. Moses Waisi. Huyu jamaa yani hata apigwe marufuku wiki kama 2 hivi. Akae huko nje.
Ni jamaa tu wa shida.
Shida topu.
Lakini ukisema ni jamaa wa shida bin shida, pia unaweza sema ni jamaa ameshiba bin kushiba. Tunazungumzia Steven Mkangai. Babake Nora, lakini yeye ana makali, anasemanga nyote ya kumemetuka. What happened last week? He was given a red card, and that is why he's not on set. But for Steven Mkangai, he has appealed and he said, no, that was unfair. But let's look what exactly transpired last week.
Usituchanganye bana. Next time we're Chelsea ama Manchester United.
But you're
out of order, bro. Out of order bana.
Mkangai, walk out.
But he's out of order.
So they always say when you think football, and if you're a player, then you have to respect the referee. I was the referee. Hassan Juma also on the other side was the assistant referee. But for Steven Mkangai, he did misbehave. Let's go to the VAR. We must check it because they're saying we have to sample it. If he did not do a mistake, maybe we might rescind that card, but I don't see that happening. You must behave, Steven Mkangai. Welcome back. And how are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Very, very fine. Hassan Juma.
Happy to see you.
I think you can be able actually to square it out and maybe fish it out and just call it a day.
Mambo yatakuwa mazuri. Nashukuru rufaa imekatwa na imesikizwa na watu ambao wameangalia sikuwa na makosa. Na wanajua kwamba nitafanya kazi vizuri. Kwa hata kadi ya manjano nitapili, lakini nimeridhika nayo.
Remember, we have an all-ladies affair at the VAR box, and that is Valerie Achieng and also Beldin Waliaula. So we'll always be going back to them, and they'll be able to tell us if we need to give someone a red card, or we might be able to do it and say it will be a yellow card. But at this particular time, let's go back to Robinson Okenye. We have plenty of matches today, and you have to go back on your Twitter, and remember, the hashtag to use is none other than hashtag football sleep. Now, we're talking about the matches that will be giving a keen interest and focus this weekend, and there are 10 specific matches. 2 of those matches will be played later on this month, and those are in the FKF Cup. So we'll also be able to sample that. But, Okenye, give us the magical 10 games that we will be telling our viewers where exactly to place the bets if they do.
Thanks a lot, Moses. Well, you see, you know, there's something that they say it's called a train. So 2 matches that we predicted, zinaitwa unazieka kwa train. So for later on in the month. So let's quickly run through the predictions that we have for this weekend. And remember, the big match for the weekend is Atletico versus Barcelona. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona, the big match of the weekend. And then in the FA Cup, Man City will be taking on Newcastle. Give us your views on what you or rather who you expect to win that match. Manchester United in the FA Cup will be taking on Liverpool at Old Trafford. A very interesting fixture. West Ham will be at home against Aston Villa. This is in the Premier League. In Serie A, Inter Milan will be taking on Napoli. Atalanta will be at home taking Fiorentina. Dortmund will be at home taking on Frankfurt in Bundesliga. Rennes will be at home taking on Marseille in Ligue 1, that is the French Ligue 1. And now, these 2 fixtures that we have at the bottom of the league, these fixtures will be played at the end of the month. Now, ask yourself why we put these 2 fixtures here. We put these 2 fixtures here because in the Kenyan local league, there is no action this weekend. So this will be played at the end of the month. We put them here so that we can at least talk something about the local league. So these fixtures, very, very important. Ukieka hizi, utakuwa na ngoja hizi mbili zingiane. So we'll be waiting for that. Now, aside from the fixture that we have, you can take a look at them to give us your views, give us your prediction who's going to win in which fixture. Now, aside from this, I want to take you back to Moses Wahisi. Today, we had the Champions League draw. Big teams locking horns in the quarterfinals. 8 teams, and there is a big question on who will go through. Moses Wahisi, take us through the Champions League draw.
And Okenye, that will be our kickoff, simply because from the Champions League, we have plenty of excitement, and different teams will try as much as possible to see how well they will be able to play. But the question is, who will be able to win the battle? Arsenal. They're pitted against Bayern Munich, and a number of people are saying maybe that is the easiest route to the finals. But others are saying Manchester City, the last season treble winners, maybe they might be able to clinch it this time out. Let's look at what exactly transpired when we had the draw earlier today.
Finals, we'll have Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich. It'll be Atletico de Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid against Manchester City, and Paris Saint-Germain facing Barcelona. Then, depending on who makes it through, of course, we'll have Atletico or Borussia Dortmund versus PSG or Barcelona, and Arsenal or Bayern Munich taking on Real or Manchester City. That's the Road to Wembley final on the 1st of June 2024. And talking about dates, it's time to mark your calendars, of course. You don't want to miss those games. The first legs of the quarterfinals will be played on the 9th and 10th of April, with the return legs scheduled for the following week, so on the 16th and 17th. The semi-finals, the first leg will take place on April 30th and May 1st, with the return fixtures scheduled for the 7th and 8th of May. And of course, the 2 finalists will then meet on the 1st of June in London. That will do it from all of us here at the House of European Football in Lyon. Thank you, Mikel. I'm sure your phone will be filled with messages after this draw. Thank you, Giorgio. Very well done, gentlemen. All the best. See you again soon.
Ni draw hiyo ya michuano ya klabu bingwa bara Ulaya, michuano ya hadi Steven Mkangai, Rogers Shtemi. Nyinyi bwana mmeangalia michuano hii, draw imefanyika leo, kauli yako?
Ni draw ambayo nafikiri inakutanisha timu ambazo zina uzoefu. Ukiangalia zimeshiriki mara kadhaa, makocha wachanga na wenye uzoefu. Ukiangalia Guardiola ameshinda taji, tukizungumzia Diego Simeone amecheza mpaka finali mara kadhaa. Tukimzungumzia kocha wa timu ya Real Madrid ni mwenyewe ameshinda timu 4 tofauti. Tukizungumzia Teta ndio mwanzo anatia goli katika hii fani ya mpira wa kandanda. Na unaangalia mpira unabadilika sana. Unaangalia mfano draw ya kwanza timu ile chakuliwa kwa Arsenal na mashabiki wengi sana, na wiki nzima umekuwa wakiongea kwenye mitandao kushinda wachezaji, wameimba, wamezungumza na wanasema kwamba wako tayari kumpiga yeyote. Na hapa ni mbili, watolewe na Bayern ama Real ama Man City. Kwa hivyo nafikiri tutaka tuangalie ubabe wa timu. Je, watajiandaa vipi? Mfano ukiangalia timu za England ni timu 2. Ukienda Hispania wana timu 3. Ukienda Italia hawana timu. Na yupo katika England taifa la Wembley. Wanaomba kwamba labda Arsenal ama City moja fuzu, lakini mechi ambazo za kuangaliwa mbili kubwa Arsenal Bayern. Mara mwisho uniangalia wakati wa kina Lewandowski, Wenger alipigwa mbao 8 nyumbani ugenini 8-2. Inaonyesha kwamba wanalipisa kisasi ama itakuwaje. Alafu jingine Real Madrid na City wanakutanishwa nasa mara ya 3. Ni kama mazoea sasa. Na City limtoa msimu jana ikautoa ubingwa. Je, watampiga tena Real ama itakuwa ngumu? Kisha itakuwa ni mechi ya mwisho kwa Mbappe akiwa PSG. Je, atashinda taji akiwa na PSG ama atashinda akiwa na Real Madrid? Kwa hivyo tutakuwa naangalia.
Rogers Shtemi, the news must be so quiet. Unajua Arsenal walikuwa kupiga kelele sana. But after this draw, it's been so quiet. You know, I was engaging my boss Kizito na Mlanda at some point and I was like, you know, Arsenal, we can win this match. You know, what do you make of the draw today? But for Champions League quarter-final pairing.
But I think men have been separated from boys, or literally the wheat has been separated from the chaff. And that means indeed Arsenal has really come a long way, and them having been paired against Bayern Munich.
Are you putting your money on Arsenal beating Bayern Munich?
Absolutely. It is a chance, a perfect chance for Arsenal to revenge the demolition of the yesteryears, because looking at how Arsenal play at the moment, I think any day, anytime you can put your bet on them. And on the other side, Bayern are flip-flopping. You can't really bank on them. Yes, they won against a bottom-place team, I think it was 8-1, but that is really not convincing. Looking at how they have been playing, well, they have also lost the Bundesliga as we speak, because they can't really match Bayer Leverkusen, and now they'll put all the energies in the Champions League. But Arsenal is a big test to them, because also they have been title drought, or rather trophy drought, and they can end up this year maybe trying to seriously challenge those 2 trophies, that is the Premier League and also the Champions League. But it won't be a walk in the park based on the experience they have. These are young people. You haven't seen, I think, only 1 player or 2 in that current squad, Arsenal squad, who have played in the Champions League. And we can say about Kai, who has won it for Chelsea. But it's going to be an interesting match, so to say.
Kauli ya Rogers Shtemi. Angalia, sio klabu bingwa bara Ulaya draw, kulikuwa draw 2 leo. Kulikuwa pia na draw ya dimba lile la Europa, dimba la Alhamisi. Tuangalie draw hiyo ilifanyika hii leo, mambo yalikuwa kwaje? Nani atakutana na nani katika draw ya mkombo ule wa robo finali?
We've got AC Milan taking on AS Roma in an all-Italian clash. It'll be Liverpool versus Atalanta, Bayer Leverkusen facing West Ham United, and Sport Lisboa Benfica taking on Olympique de Marseille. Depending on who goes through to the final 4, we'll have Benfica or Marseille taking on Liverpool or Atalanta, and it'll be Milan or Roma taking on Leverkusen or West Ham. That'll lead up to the final on the 22nd of May.
Robinson Okenye mwenzangu, tuangalie mambo alikwenda kwendaje wiki jana, manake mimi, wewe, Moses Wahisi tuliekeza, tulitoa betting slip. Mambo alikwenda kwendaje Robinson Okenye?
Well, thanks a lot, Hassan Juma. So let's quickly run through last week's sleeps. And as we know, Moses Wahisi was the last one according to our statistics. So these were last week's results. Manchester United got a 2-0 win against Everton. Arsenal got a 2-1 win against Brentford. Liverpool settled for 1-1 draw against Manchester City. Bayern Munich got a massive 8-1 win against Mainz. Leipzig with a 2-0 win against Darmstadt. Bayer Leverkusen with a 2-0 win against Wolfsburg. Sassuolo settled for 1-0 win against Frosinone. Then Juventus settled for a 2-2 draw against Atalanta. Bidco settled for 1-1 draw against Nairobi City Stars, with Tusker getting a 1-0 win against FC Leopards. So before I go to Moses, let me begin with myself. How did I perform? I know Moses was the last one in this, but let's